Well, hello there. It's Jeremy from Video Gamers Oasis with a very brief prologue. Just want to let you know, finally finished reading chapter 4 of the book, Chess in 30 Minutes. I apologize for taking so long. Last weekend was really wacky. I was kind of exhausted. So I had to do a lot of resting, but I did completely read the entire chapter 4. And what I'm going to be doing is dividing up podcast episodes, all for chapter 4, but in subheadings, starting with the chapter on pinning attacks. So sit back, relax, get your favorite beverage. We're finally going to begin chapter 4, starting with pinning attacks as the first subheading. We're studying winning techniques in chess in chapter 4. For our first subheading, page 54, we're learning about pinning attacks. Stay tuned. Podcast Miniseries, E.S. Lowe's Chess in 30 Minutes, Study and Practical Application, with your host, Jeremy Morrow, the reader, and Chapter 4, we're reading Winning Techniques, subheading, Pinning Attacks, pages 54 to 56. This podcast episode is brought to you by ATTSUKKA, your anime collectibles haven. In the vibrant landscape of anime, ATTSUKKA came to life on August the 1st, 2023, with a shared vision and a fervent passion for the extraordinary world of anime. The name ATTSUKKA was born from the fusion of our deep admiration for anime culture and the aspiration to bring it closer to enthusiasts worldwide. I find my selection reflects the two opposite aspects of my personality. My new Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece t-shirt reflects my playful, rogue, and daringly heroic side, while my new Attack on Titan, tight, sweatpants reflect my stoic, disciplined, and regimental side. It looks like I'm going to have to start disciplining myself more with my eating habits and exercise routine. I'm up for the challenge. Get 25% off with this coupon code, Video Gamers Oasis. Type in https://atsuka.com/discount/ all caps Video Gamers Oasis. Go now. ATTSUKKA, your anime collectibles haven. We're now on page 54, chapter 4, Winning Techniques, a brand new chapter. Let's begin. Oh, and before we begin, if you haven't already, send some likes, send some love if you enjoy chess, if you enjoy learning about chess, and if you like my video game channel, Video Gamers Oasis, make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell, send some likes, send some love. Make sure that little bell is wiggling. I do appreciate it very much. Now, let's learn about winning techniques. Chapter 4, page 54. There are times when, quote-unquote, watchful waiting is indicated in a game of chess. But as a rule, an active, aggressive policy is more to the point. There are specific winning techniques. And in this chapter, we will study some of these methods that lead to victory. Subheading, Pinning Attacks. The most frequently used winning method is probably the pin. This involves attacking a piece which cannot move because an even more valuable piece is behind it on the line of attack. Diagram 40 is a good example of the pin. Diagram 40, brackets, white to move. White has a winning pin. Here's the diagram on the right side of the middle of the page. White wins with a pinning move. 1. R-N1! Exclamation point. This rook moves, This rook move attacks the bishop. Note that the bishop cannot move out of danger because it shields the black knight from attack. Therefore, black must protect the bishop. 1 ... p-kr4. Moving on to page 55. Now white cannot capture the bishop with his rook, for black would recapture with his king-rook pawn. This would be a foolish exchange as far as white is concerned, as a rook is worth more than a bishop. But white has a sly way of exploiting the helplessness of the pinned bishop. 2 p-kr3 exclamation point. Black's bishop cannot capture this pawn. Remember, the bishop is pinned. It cannot move off the line of attack because it is shielding the black king. And so the attacked bishop will have to stay put, allowing white to win a piece by playing 3 pxb. In diagram 41, we have another example of the pin and how it works. So the attacked bishop will have to stay put, allowing white to win a piece by playing 3 pxb period. In diagram 41, we have another example of the pin and how it works. Diagram 41 brackets black to move. Black has a winning pin. And here we have the diagram 41 showing this, displaying black's winning pin. Black's position looks quite aggressive. But just what can he accomplish? True, he can play 1 ... rxr, comma, there whereupon white replies 2 rxr period. This is an even exchange with no profit and no loss. But black has a much better move, a pinning move. 1 ... a real stinger. And B, but black has a much better move, a pinning move. 1 ... b-b5 exclamation point. A real stinger. Moving on to page 56. Black attacks the white rook, which cannot move without losing white's queen. Thus, white's rook is tied down, pinned to its square. White should lose. He must part with a rook for a bishop. This represents clear material loss for white. Okay, so let's have a brief review of our lesson today with the 3D chess game available on Microsoft. All right, this is diagram 40, brackets white to move. White has a winning pin. Now I'm going to describe the game board for average people who are not overly familiar with chess, or people who are listening to the audio only. The king, the white king, is on section C1. The white rook is on section D1. The first white pawn is on section A2. The next white pawn is on section B2. The third white pawn is on section C2. There's a white knight in front of the white pawn on section C3. Diagonal from the white knight is a white pawn on section D4. And there's another white pawn on section E3. And another white pawn on section H2. On the black side, we have the black, or the black side bishop on section G4, a black pawn on section D5 in front of the white pawn. Diagonal from that pawn is section E6, black pawn. There's 3 more black pawns, one on section C7, B7, and A7, and a black rook on section A8. There's also another pawn on the other side of the board on section 8-7. If I haven't mentioned it, yeah, there is a black bishop on section G4, and on the very top of the board to the right side is the black king on section G8. The next diagram we're looking at is diagram 41. Brackets, black to move. Black has a winning pin. Just to read off all the pieces on the board. The king, the white king, is on section G1. We have a white pawn on section H2. Another white pawn on section G2. A white queen on section D2. White rook on section C1. White bishop on section B1. A white pawn in section B2. Another white pawn in section A2. Diagonal from the white queen, we have a white rook on section E3. White knight on section F3. And a few spaces up in front of the white queen on section D4, we have the white pawn. In front of the white pawn is on section D5 is the black queen. Then we have a black pawn on section B5, another black pawn on section A6, a black bishop on section B7, a black rook on section A8. Behind the black queen is a black bishop on section D6. Next to the black bishop is a black rook on section E6. Diagonal from the black rook is F7, black pawn. Another black pawn on section G7. The previous pawn was on section F7, just in case I missed that. So we have F7, black pawn, G7, black pawn, and H9, black pawn. And at the very, almost the top corner of the board, we have the black king on section G8. That's all the time we have for this episode. We've been reading Chapter 4 from the book E.S. Lowe's Chess in 30 Minutes. Winning Techniques, subheading Pinning Attacks on pages 54 to 56. Tune in next time. We're going to be studying Knight Forks on pages 56 to 58. Bye for now.